Yo, what's going on, traders? This is the weekly outlook video, and we just had NFP week this past weekend, or Friday, I should say. It's September 7th, Saturday, the time I'm making this, and this is for September 8th. And we're getting into the last quarter of trading here. So, and obviously, we have an election coming up, and the countdown is on for that. It's going to be, it's about 62 days away or something like that. So it'll be really interesting how the markets shake out between here and there. I think it may stay somewhat in a holding pattern. And then things are going to really get interesting, obviously, around the election. So, but that being said, we had NFP this past week, and a lot of, let's see, here's the numbers for NFP, which were a miss. And pretty significant miss at that. So now we're coming into this week, and the big thing on the books is, with the election that I was just talking about, is inflation. So how is inflation? Obviously, Kamala Harris is in the current administration, and it's been there for 3.5 years. So, whether the inflation has much to do with her policies and their policies, I'd say it does, but it has more to do with the Fed, so the Federal Reserve. So that being said, though, Wednesday is going to be off the charts volatility for sure. With it's going to be crazy, man. That's all there is to say about it. So we have consumer inflation, production inflation on Thursday, and that's really it. So if we take a look at the charts here now, I'd been talking about this Aussie New Zealand setup. This is one of my favorite trades, and man, I had sent this out to my trading group, and I've been talking about it on these videos. And this is a bear flag pattern. So of course I have a couple moving averages and an envelope on here, a couple oscillators, but this is like a textbook bear flag, and I got out of it early. So a little confession there, and it's kind of turns my stomach, to be honest, looking at this now. But hopefully some of y'all took the trade, and that makes it all worth it at the end of the day. So Aussie New Zealand, and Aussie was just pumping along previously in the week, and it just failed big time to, it looked like AJ was breaking out here, and that was the trend among all of these yen pairs. I mean, really big breakdowns. CAD yen, Swiss yen. Take a look at GJ, and we went sideways for so long, for weeks, after this huge breakdown, which, this is GJ, but for God's sakes, that's 2,500 pips, over 2,500 pips. So we went sideways after that. It took about 25 days, and so rebound sideways. And so, it's going to be interesting to see where these yen pairs end up. So I'm honestly staying away from those. I liked that Aussie New Zealand short. And New Zealand's been doing a little bit better. So now, if we get to, and this was NFP on Friday, right? So if we take a look at some of these dollar pairs going into the new week and going into the inflation, Dollar CAD is setting up super nice. Following the NFP, we just got a huge rally, some serious CAD weakness as well. Euro CAD is like, talk about a death wick candle right here. So because when US has NFP also, it's always a sleeper. Nobody talks about it, but very rarely. Canada has their unemployment. So that was a big move on this past Friday. So if I go back to dollar CAD here, dollar Swiss, not so much, but dollar CAD, we've broken down. This is my level that I would love to see a pullback to, and honestly, we might even push higher than that. This is going to be that could be, I should say, a good entry opportunity, especially getting set up for inflation on Wednesday. And the reason is, if we take a look at UJ, just man, I was looking at it up here too for the short. Ah, so uh, now just to get back to dollar CAD. So if we have a big push higher, right? And then say if inflation comes back lower, now that would be a shock, but even if it's like the slightest tenth lower, we're more than likely going to see some extreme weakness in the dollar because the Fed Chairman Powell, the FOMC, they said really they're looking to cut rates, maybe even in September. They've been very dovish, meaning they're looking to pull back the cord on their interest rate policy and soften it up a bit. And so if inflation comes in lower, then that's going to affirm and further, make that a valid point that, hey, it is time. Inflation's dropping, so we can drop interest rates. And if that happens, then we're going to see, some massive, huge dollar weakness. So, I would be really on the lookout for pound dollar. Euro's been struggling quite a bit among the cross pairs, but this could be a really great setup and putting us into position for Wednesday. So now Aussie looks much heavier than the others. I particularly like dollar CAD though, because for the reason I just like shorts better than long. So let's say we get a move somewhere into these areas, and when the easiest tool you could ever learn how to use to measure where these pullback areas might be is Fibonacci. So, I could use a fib. We're almost to that 127% extension. So more than likely, we could push up around here to the 161.8. And, if that would be the area that price rolled over and the bearish trend continued, because we got some room to drop here, right? So if that was the case, then, this could be a really great short opportunity. So let's have a huge week, everybody. We appreciate y'all with Top One. We got a bunch of cool stuff happening, so stay tuned. We have a really cool thing coming out in October. We'll wait till October to talk about that. So let's make it happen. Appreciate you guys. Let's get it. Peace.